Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Hope you guys are doing well. Um, just chill out down there. Hope everybody is having a very good weekend. And yeah, I got a lot to cover today. It's been an interesting kind of week, if anything, at that. And we'll be talking about something that I'm going to be covering in a video that you'll see. Not this, I don't know if, no, it'll be the end of this week. Where are you going now? Alright, time out. I gotta go let her inside because she just doesn't want to stay put. Go ahead. Go ahead. Don't ask to come out, though. Don't ask to come out. Gotta grab something to drink while I'm out here anyways. There we go. Alright, squeeze myself back in here. So, the Queen and I decided to take a ride. It's been a pretty active week, especially with the girls. With Sarah getting banged up a bit. You'll see a video on that this week. I've done a bunch of shorts. I do a lot of shorts to try to cover more about the farm, and then Wednesday I'll put up a farm video. I know it doesn't get views, but for me, I like it. Let me see. What do I got coming? Okay. Yeah, we had the vet out. We've got a raider in the chicken coop. We're going to be covering that. Which I think we're going to get today. We're going to get him today and relocate. Would love to see a playthrough. Hard to find. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So, anyways, I'm trying to find some good balance. I have a lot of stuff in the can, and I have a lot of playthroughs, and I'm kind of trying to push it off. Like, I got tons of Warhammer Quest stuff. I was going to start that soon, like I said, in a couple other videos. But I'm kind of almost tempted to kind of hold it off a little closer to the holidays so it'll run for a while. And I'm going to take a huge break at some point. The problem is I keep on getting stuff in and I go, okay, might as well just keep on going. And that's the way it's kind of been for the last 9 years, 8 years, or whatever I've been doing this. You know, next year I think it's 10 years I've been doing this. That's way too long to have a stupid YouTube channel. It's like having a public access channel, basically. Golden Turtle, how are you? Hope you're doing well. But I got a ton of playthroughs of different things and stuff like that. I must have about, I'd say about 30 videos backed up. But I'll let them run. I was either going to, like I said, let some of them run over through the holidays, which will cover a couple months, or save them for eventually when I decide to just hang it up and just have it run for a while and ease my way out of this if I ever decided to, you know, hang up the boots, as we say. You know, 10 years is a long time. But the Queen and I, on Saturdays, we try to get away from the farm. We really do. The grandkids, the kids, you know, everybody will take the dogs, or, you know, we'll do whatever. Excuse me for a second. We're constantly doing stuff for my mother-in-law, who lives in the back, that we have a tiny home for. You know, we have a lot of property, so you know, there's a lot of family here. You know, my daughter, we're always dealing with things with her, grandkids, daughter-in-laws, sons, mother-in-laws. You know, when you get a certain age, there is a massive amount of responsibility, and as the leader, as the Kubla Khan of this family. You know, it's tough. You know, heavy is the brow of he who wears the crown. And trying to protect everybody, keep everybody safe, make sure everybody's okay, make sure, you know, things that need to get done. When things go wrong, like something went wrong with the truck, so, you know, he got in a panic. So how do we do that? You know, just tons and tons and tons of stuff. You know, constantly going on. So, you know, I try to fit in taping a whole bunch of videos, and I do a lot of stuff off camera. You know, my granddaughter and I have been playing a lot of different things. I'm trying to find out where her little niche is. And I'll get back to where I originally was going. But she seems to, you know, she's only 5, but she's incredibly, incredibly smart. Of course, you know, grandfather's going to say that. But we play certain things, and there's certain things that she does well with. Like we tried doing some table golf association. Dexterity, you know, no. And she lost interest. But we broke out Dungeon Quest, which is, a matter of fact, it's right over there. And we were doing that. And I was letting her go, and I was just kind of guiding her. Okay, you can't do that. Which way do you want to go? You know, that type of thing. And she was having fun with that. What was the other game that we were playing that she really, really liked? Oh, Return to the Dark Tower. Okay, a game that I was kind of like, which kind of is going to lead to a little bit of nostalgia that we're going to be talking about. But she really enjoyed that. She loved that tower, and she sat there, and I was like, okay, you know, we got something here. There are certain things that you just got to. The Godzilla game from Funko. She was kind of interested in that. I think she was more interested in the figures that come in the box. But, you know, starting her small and slowly with easy things, I think. And she seems to have an interest, not shoving it down her throat. You know, I'm not one of those sports dads. You know, the same thing with my grandson. You know, I'm waiting for him to get to a certain age, see if he wants to play some sports. Hey, who better to teach him than, you know, guys that got more trophies than some people have room in their houses. And that's not being cocky. That's just the way it is, folks. Matter of fact, I threw out a whole bunch of trophies. Yeah, I just threw it. It doesn't matter if it's in your head. You know, for me, playing sports was never about winning things I always got bored if I was too good at something. I think I've mentioned this before, and you know, my wife never got to see me play when I was young. You know, when I was, you know, winning state championships in wrestling or you know, baseball, football, whatever, you know. And when I got older, you know, I still wanted to do things, and, you know, I'll go out and keep playing, you know. And, you know, then the traveling got too much, and you know, she got to see it, and she got to watch us win things. You know, flag football, you know, baseball. I won a couple golf tournaments. She caddy, that was fun. What else? I mean, there was just all kinds of things. You know, now my thing's racquetball, and I think I'm going to try pickleball. The reason is I'm not good at it, so now it's a challenge. If you get too good at something, you just get bored. So if you're not testing yourself, what's the point? You know, even at this age, you know, this month I'm going to be pretty old, and you know, in the twilight of things, which I'm going to kind of try to see if I can segue this into where I originally started this story. Was we had gone She loves bin shopping. Okay. Ugh. Those Amazon bin places, right? So we got to get there when they open, right? And usually we can find things that we really need, and it's like $10 for something that's, we would have paid 90 or $100 for. And, and I'll always find like a little something. Like I found this bag of rubber ducks are a big thing. But with my grandson, they're massive. Okay. So for $10, I found this thing of one, it was a bag of 100 different ducks. So I said, okay, yeah, sure. We'll take that. And brought it home. They lost their minds. Of course, they fought over it, but, that's brother and sister, right? 5 and 3, too close in age. We went to the bin store, and then I took her out to eat. We went to this place called the Naughty Lobster. She loves going there because she loves lobster rolls. Expensive for, especially Florida, getting New England lobster. I mean, something that we used to get when we'd go up to Maine all the time when we lived in Connecticut. It was only a couple hours to get to Maine. But I would take her. I'd take her there, and then we were heading back. And of course, we go by the town that we used to live. And of course, we never would go to the flea market then, or the as much then to the flea market by our home. But there was this antique place that was always in the flea market, Renninger's. It's a huge place here in Central Florida. So we went in. So she was looking for some old antique dishes because she wants to hang them on the wall. I went, okay, all right. So we stopped, and we stopped there, and we were walking through the place, and it was just an unbelievable amount of nostalgia from when I was a kid. Are there any planned content for Shadow Brimstone? Yes. And I mean, just when I walked in the place and you breathe things in, it reminded me of my grandmother's place when I was a kid, and seeing all the old stuff and things like that, and looking at hearing the music and remembering how my grandmother would have the Vitrola going on and stuff like that, and and just remembering back from your childhood. Well, as she was walking around looking for dishes, there was an old collectible toy place. Okay, it was like toys and memorabilia, and I walked in there, and that's when it really hit me. How much I miss my uncle and things like that. And it was kind of cool because some of the things I saw, and I've been talking about this lately, especially with Return to the Dark Tower and Dark Tower, how we tend to remember things better than what they were. And yet, also in the same instance, we remember things, and boy, they were pretty damn cool back then. And it's amazing how we've lost our way. I guess every generation does. I'm not too sure how it works. I'm sure my grandfather looked at my father, and my father looked at me and went, oh, yeah, that next generation don't get it. But when I went in there, some of the old stuff that I saw, the old... And they were all things that I had, and I'm going to go into this a bit. But one of the things that really got me was the old G.I. Joe space capsule. And he used to have the space suit with the helmet. And I remember I got that for Christmas one year. And oh my God, it was like the greatest thing. And then the G.I. Joe footlocker. And you used to have all little pieces, and you would, put all his clothing in the bottom, and then all his guns and his belts and grenades and shit. And back then, tiny pieces were okay to have around the house. People weren't sticking them in their mouth and trying to swallow them. Well, they did. But, if you do that today, it's like a safety hazard. And then I saw the guy had a Rom the Space Knight, the old Milton Bradley, huge alien figure. And I loved the comic book, and I remember getting Rom, and I had him. And I was gonna say, ooh, maybe I'll buy that, and then I would look at the price of the space capsule, and it was $650. I went, no, I'll let that go. And then I looked at Rom. I go, oh, maybe I'll bring Rom home. That'd be cool to just kind of stick him in a corner here somewhere, right? Just for old time's sake. And that was $400. And I went, okay, that's a little crazy. What else did I see? The Mooncrawler. Major Matt Mason, the Metal dude, the space guy. And he had this like crawler with suckers on the end of it. I used to have one of those. Oh my God, the thing was so cool. And you would put them in, and you would drag certain things with it, and it was all battery operated. But those things used to keep us so amused back then. We would use our imaginations, something I don't think a lot of kids do nowadays. When something went, when you played and something went wrong, you argued it out, and that was the end of it, and then somebody would come to a conclusion. That doesn't happen nowadays. Nowadays, a lot of these kids are playing video games, and those are their toys, and if they start losing, it's just like, well, I'm going to reset it, or I'm going to disconnect from this person, because they want to be right. And I think that really affects how people are today. Nobody listens to anybody else. They just want to be right. They just reset it, or they don't listen to what is true, or try to figure out certain things. But as I was walking through there, right, I saw the old lunch boxes, because every year you would try to get the coolest lunchbox, okay? And they had Land of the Lost. What was the one that I saw? Lost in Space, which was a cool one. Space 1999, which was a cool lunchbox. There was one that really... Land of the Giants. The old one there. I saw that there. Oh God. The one I had, I'm trying to remember now, because now it's bothering me. Oh God. It was ancient. They had a Fantastic Four one. They had from all the kinds of different TV shows. Oh, Forbidden Planet. They had Robbie the Robot. I was looking at that. Guy wanted $900 for it. I'll stick with the little one I have. God. Oh, and then I said, well, everything's really expensive in here, and I looked, and I went, oh, what's that? And in this case, they had from the TV show UFO. I love that show. They had the little space, the UFOs, and I went, oh my God, they got the UFOs. This is like the coolest thing. And I'm looking at it, and I go, yeah, I think I'm going to get one of these because they got the little boxes for it. I go, that would be really cool to have. It was $110 for this little itty bitty UFO. I went, you know, any other day maybe, but no, I'm not going to do it. Maybe I'll look it up online and see if I can find one. They had some Space 1999 stuff, which was cool. They had a bust from Legend, the Tom Cruise movie, the Tim Curry Devil, which was cool. They had the robot from Metropolis, which was cool. That was ridiculous because I was looking at that. That's an old favorite of mine. Jeez. I was going through there and I was just in amazement. And I was just remembering, going to the five and dimes and going, my mom would go and pick something up, but they had this like bin, and they were separate bins, and they had all the little metal toys and the little robots in there, and or whatever else it was, the tin soldiers and things like that. And you go, God, I would love a couple of these. And you used to dream about things, you would be like, you wished for things, you wanted things, and you never, very rarely would you get them, but they would keep you, like when you would look through certain magazines, come November when it was coming close to Christmas, and they would come out with the flyer of all the toys that were going to be on sale. And oh my God, the wish list book. And it made me think, when you get older, it's not that you lose enthusiasm for these things. It's you're able to get these things, and nothing becomes special anymore. You don't dream, you don't imagine. I couldn't imagine what it is to have so much money you don't know what to do with yourself. Because if you have the ability to get everything you want, there's nothing to desire. There's nothing to live for. You don't take and enjoy simple things, we didn't have much, so we enjoyed simple things. I loved, taking a trash can lid and a stick, and making a sword, and going around nights at a round table, and just playing with our friends and chasing each other in the neighborhood, and you used your imagination. You had this just like, you had this just wonderment. And I think we lose that with the ability to get everything, like gaming, for instance. The things that mean the most to me are the things that you can't get anymore. And my Warhammer Quest and things like that. People romanticized about Hero Quest and even Dark Tower, but now they reprint them, and now you have it. So now what else is there to look forward to? We stockpile stuff and we don't play it. It's just the sense of having it, because when we were younger, we didn't have the chance to have things. Things were tough back then. Now we give our kids everything, and I always want them to have what I didn't have, and it just gets worse each generation, and I'm just as guilty of it. And I think we ruin our kids by not having them, dream or use their imaginations. Now, we try our best with the grandkids. We color, we do things outside. They have a farm. How many kids have a farm? Nowadays, and they have room to run, and bouncy houses and cows and chickens and interact with all the different things of life, they're a little different. They're not allowed to watch TV. I think it's like a half hour. You know, um, they play. They fight with each other. They play with each other. They color together. They do schoolwork together. It's all different. It's a different way of doing things. And it might be not right for everybody here, but for everybody, the way we do things. But we're not saying that you have to do things like us. It's our beliefs, and what your beliefs are fine too. We had the Sears Wish book. Oh yeah, those were cool. In Canada, and I used to cut out the pictures and make a list for Santa. Yeah, we all did that. God, it was. But as we were walking through, it was kind of funny because my wife turned to me and said, "You know, my mom used to take me to all these places, and we used to get things, and I'd be like, ugh, this is so boring, all this old stuff." And now, when she looks and she's getting those same things, she gets it now. Because she remembers. It was funny, last night we went, like I said, we had an expensive lunch, so we were going to have a cheap dinner. So she wasn't really, really hungry, and I wasn't either. And the night before, we went to this pizza place that just opened up. There was a place that's been here in Lady Lake since 1961, and they finally retired, so they closed the place up. And then somebody went in there and decided to do another pizza place there, pizza and pasta place. So we said, all right, we'll give it a try. So Friday night, I went down, we ordered 2 pizzas. I walked in there and I looked around and I go, oh my God, this is going to be so bad. And we got the pizza home, and it was horrible. Now, we're pizza snobs because we're originally from New Haven. So, we're used to the best pizza in the world. And my wife got sick. My son got sick. And I just thought it was the worst in the area. So we said, well, okay, we're not going to go there again. So last night we went to Wawa's, and she just wanted a salad. Okay, and I said, you know something? I always hear the pizza's okay here. And I go, I got to make up for that disaster. I got to block it out of my head. So we ordered I just ordered a real basic pizza. Hey, Jason, how are you? And I said, I'll give it a try. So I got it, brought it into the car, and we sat in the car because we take the dogs with us on Saturday nights. So they get out of the house a little bit, away from the farm. They love to go in the car. So I take a bite of it and I go, oh my God, this reminds me of something when I was a kid. So I gave it to my wife. She takes a bite. She goes, you know what this is? I go, no. What is it? She goes, it's Elio's pizza. I go, oh my God, you're right. The little square pizzas. Wasn't the greatest pizza, but it was a pizza that we used to have for lunch at school. It was cheap and affordable, and they would buy it in the freezer, and then on a Friday night, my mom would cook up a whole bunch of the Elios. She'd zhuzh them up a bit with she'd throw pepperoni on there, or onions on there, and then cook them on there, and then we'd have square slices of pizza, and it's just a memory again, from old days gone by. And we were laughing about it, and we were talking about it. We brought it home, and the kids took a bite of it, and they go, wow, this isn't that good. They go, you didn't grow up poor. You didn't grow up poor, so you wouldn't understand. But for us, it was very good. And on that note, spending money. You know, you try to. I've been trying to be really smart with what I do here, and I saw a game. You know, I try to find things that I think will be interesting for the channel, because I'm not as focused on bringing in things that are really interesting to me, because right now I'm trying to get my collection down to the things that mean the most to me. So that's why we have auctions. As a matter of fact, I think at the end of the month or the beginning of next month, I'm going to have a real small auction. Doing these big ones are just, they're exhausting. It's overwhelming. But I think I'm going to do you know, maybe like a 4 or 5 lot thing. You know, just to keep, because as stuff comes in, stuff needs to go out. So I try to bring things in, review them, and then give them to you at a good price. Okay? You know, like I said, what I get out of them is the review and the content for the channel, which is important. You know, and I just, you know, try to be smart with the little money that I get from YouTube. Okay? Or that I'll generate from an auction. I try to invest it back in so I don't have to take a beating. You know, a lot of people have a Patreon, which is fine, but I won't do that. Especially when this is just kind of a hobby and it's not work. It really isn't. It takes up time and it can be frustrating and it could be a lot of things, but it's not real work. Okay. Unless you're a Rodney or, you know, you're a corporation like the Dice Tower, you know, that have been around forever and things like that, you know. This isn't hard work. So you're going to see a video. I think it's either the end of this week or next week. It is going to be on this piece of shite. Okay, this is garbage. Pathfinder Arena. And I'm going to tell you, it is the biggest cash grab that you'll ever see. First of all, the game's okay at best. You know, you take and you have this arena thing in the Pathfinder universe, and you go, oh, this would be kind of cool. But it's kind of like you're playing against another person, when I'd rather have it where you're fighting the monsters. Okay, you can do that somewhat in co-op and solo, but the way you kind of level up is kind of the arena moves and changes, and you can change it against the person, which is lame at best. You know, you have these tiles that you're going to be moving through, and I'm not going to explain much of it, but the thing that gets me is the expansions, how expensive they were for 4 miniatures and a couple of cards. It was like $40-something. Now, I know somebody's going to say, well, you know, you would pay that for Games Workshop. At least Games Workshop, you're going to get unbelievable quality. Okay? This was very not thought out. I think it's a black eye for a Pathfinder, and could very well be my worst game of the year. Now, how many times have you ever heard me say a game isn't good? And you know, when I suck almost $200 into something, and I go, I mean, you gotta be kidding me. What? I mean, what is this? You know, I got the expansions, and I fell into that, not the fear of missing out thing, as much as, oh, I think I need this expansion to kind of keep the story going. I need this. And there wasn't much to research it on, because the videos that were out there were from 2 years ago, and they were all propaganda. Okay? It was, yeah, this is great. This is a lot of fun. And it was more prototype rah-rah stuff. They got paid to do the video. And it's a big problem that some people have, is when you are not forthright, because you haven't seen one video when this is just just come out, the miniature market. You haven't seen one video. Well, you're going to see one. It's going to be from me. And I'm not going to be very nice because it was a waste of money. And I have myself to blame. But hopefully I can prevent some of you from making the same mistake. Or maybe it's something that interests you and you go, oh, well, Rob don't like it, but I think this will fit our group just fine. Okay, fine. Either way. Either way. So we will be talking about this soon. And we got a lot of stuff going up this weekend, things like that. So, yeah, so we're going to be covering that. I think I said hi, Jason. What else did I have? This week, I'm actually going to be able to fit something in live with my granddaughter. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. What else did... Oh, I got another game coming in that I've been trying to hunt down that I'm going to be checking out this week. Heroes of Might and Magic 3. And I got the expansion for Return to Dark Tower. I wasn't sure if I was going to do that. But my granddaughter loves this stupid game so much that I'm going to go, okay, let's check it out. So that'll kind of close the door on that because I have all the figures, which I'm going to be painting at some point. Then we got a Primal video going up. I got some other things that I'm working on here and there. It's been a little busy at work. It is a weird time. It is the end of the fiscal year for military. So we're dealing with some things. So I'm dealing with that. And then we had a tree go down in the back, and it took out a good portion of our fencing. So we've been doing that. So I was going to try to go live this week. I didn't get a chance. We were trying to get everything all squared away. And then, you know, the Sarah stuff, you know, and then the chicken coop stuff. You'll see videos in the coming weeks on all that as I have been taping everything. And a matter of fact, I dug out this old camera. This thing is just perfect for going out into the field and taping and getting things because the focus is really good on it, and it's better than my video camera. So I forgot I even had this. My 6500, my Sony 6500. I was actually going to sell that, and then we got the farm, and it helps me get some really nice video of the eagles and stuff like that and things like that. So very, very, very cool. What else did I get? Hold on. Let's see, I was going through things. I'm going to take a look at these. The Kinfire Delve things. I finally got the last one, which is Callus Labs. So this is fascinating me because I love little games in little boxes. And I love card games. So, yeah, count me in. So we'll be taking a look at that. I might even be doing that. That's what I was thinking of doing live a bit, and maybe I'll have my granddaughter help me. Her commentary. I finally am starting to get, believe it or not, this whole table cleaned off because I'm going to be taping some more Sabutio matches. So I'm looking forward to that. Good morning. I'm your age. Are you? How old do you think I am? My mom used to drag me... Oh, hold on, let me get my glasses on. Yeah, maybe you are my age because I can't see a damn thing. My mom used to drag me to garage sales. Yeah, we still do that. And convince me to go by telling me we might find G.I. Joe stuff, LOL. Worked every time. I don't think we ever found any. God, the G.I. Joe stuff was always cool. Oh, she would tell you that you might find some GI Joe stuff. Well, but you look though, right? I'm so thankful I grew up in this country when I did. After chores and homework, spent the day outside in the woods. Yeah, me too. And running around the neighborhood. Yeah, there were certain things. It was kind of funny, now that you bring that up. Is we would come home from school, be about 3 o'clock. Not this 4:30, 5 o'clock like they do now here, which is weird. We get home about 3 o'clock. I take about a half hour to do my homework. Then I get changed. And then we were outside and we were running. And, you have a couple, we would have to be back by 5:30 because we would eat. And then at 6 o'clock, everybody would be done eating, and we would be able to go play or go over our friend's house and do something till 8 o'clock when we had to come home, get washed up, and then in bed and, back to school the next day. It's always 8 o'clock bedtime. My friends got to stay up later, but my parents just couldn't take it. She had 4 boys. So it was like, no, you guys are going to bed at 8 o'clock. But, a lot of times, especially into the fall, going through the woods and stuff like that, we'd go down to the dam. There was a dam. You would go up a hill and you would go down this path, and it would lead you to a dam. It was a small dam, but it would lead to a river that would run through the back of some of our friends' houses, some houses in the neighborhood, and over the main road in which you would be able to get in. And we always used to fish that river. The fishing wasn't that good in the fall, but come springtime, we'd come home and we'd get everything, and of course, it'd stay later a bit, and we would, we'll do our homework later, right? Grab our poles and, try to catch some trout, some spring trout. Or in the summer, the summers were the best. There was a place called Polar Joy. It was an ice cream place. And behind it, they had this huge pond. Well, to us, it was huge. And what is that noise? Okay, so there was this huge pond, and during the summer we would take the path because there was the Frank's supermarket, which was on Route 80, and we lived in the neighborhood through Route 80, and we would go, to the general store there. We would get, something to drink, and then we would cut over the road and then walk about a quarter of a mile, which seemed like forever, to half a mile, to go to behind Polar Joy, because there was this huge pond, and we would catch sunfish until we couldn't see. Okay, but there was this big fish in there. We don't know what he was. I think it was, it was a pickerel. It had to be a pickerel because it couldn't be a pike. Not in Connecticut. And he would just swim by, and we all would panic when we see him come by. And we would try to catch him, throwing our worms in front of him, trying to tempt him. But he would just swim by and taunt us and taunt us. And this happened for months. Then the following year we were there, and then, he just got even bigger. I mean, it felt like a giant, the white whale would just come by. And my friend was catching a sunfish, and he hooked the sunfish. And then all of a sudden, this thing came out of nowhere and bit it, and he got hooked. And we all panicked. And he's trying to reel it in, and sure enough, it somehow got off the lure off the hook that he was on. It spit out the hook, but we all just sat there in amazement because we almost had him. And we still don't know what he was to this day. And we never saw him again. Okay? Then again, we stopped going there too. But it was kind of neat because if we had a few bucks and it was hot out, especially in the summers, and the summers weren't horrible up in Connecticut, but, to us it was hot. 80s were like hot. We were going to die. We'd go up to Polar Joy and get an ice cream. And then, around 3 o'clock, we'd be all dirty and everything else, and we would head back. Then we'd go play baseball, or maybe we had baseball practice, or whatever else we decided to do. We were always doing something. We were always outside. We were always... My mother would be like, I'll never forget, because I used to watch my brothers when they were small, and she had to work. She was a nurse, an operating nurse. So she'd be gone a good part. And, here you are, 10 years old, trying to take care of a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old. And, back then, things were different. But the days that she was home, she was exhausted. And she tried to do cleaning. So, we would want to sleep late. Nope, get up, get dressed. All right, we're getting dressed. All right. Goodbye. Huh? We just want to watch TV. No. You guys go outside. And don't come back till lunchtime. That's just the way it was. Try doing that now. 58? I'm a lot older than you, brother. I wish I was 58 again. So, it's amazing when you really think about it. How things were nowadays. Kids get up. All right, go watch some TV. Go watch Bluey. Go watch, whatever else the big thing is. Paw Patrol. Go watch Paw Patrol. We let them watch Paw Patrol a little bit, but it's, for the most part, they go swimming. They're outside. My son, who is always doing something out on the farm, takes them out there, shows them things and stuff like that. They have a complete playground out there. They play. They do planting with their great-grandmother. My wife is always having them help, and they want to help. They want to be a part of doing things. We try to give them that outdoor life, so when they grow up, they're ready for life. It's weird. It really is a weird thing how things are going for people. I just hope, it'd just be nice if people can come to a common ground instead of being so divided. It's a sign of the times. We'll just have to see how it plays out. Things have a way of working themselves out. So, you want to stay positive and hope the best for, everybody in the future. My time, I'm taking a back seat to a lot of things. Like I said, I'm on the back nine. I'm getting ready to see what, see what's at the 19th hole. Because once you play your 18, you head right to the clubhouse and the 19th hole. But, we'll see how it all works out. Farming. Hold on, I can't see that. Farming, living living. I think you were trying to say living. Yep. Farm living is the way and the inspiration. Oh, he just typed in living. Yeah, if you told me 4 years ago that I'd have a farm, I'd say you're absolutely, batshit crazy. But, here we are. It was my son's idea of all things, right? And my house was paid for, but he felt, our neighborhood was nice, but BlackRock was buying it all up. People were selling it, and then they started renting it to people. Now this is a place that we lived for 25 years. They started buying it up. And when they started buying it up, they started renting the places. And when they started renting the places, people don't care about the place. So you would get all kinds of people in there that were just trashing the neighborhood and didn't care, and did whatever they wanted to do, and they tried robbing houses and things like that. And it went from this beautiful, beautiful neighborhood to started to get run down. And my son bought a house in that same neighborhood, and it's happening everywhere. It really is, and people don't see it. All they say is, "Oh, no, 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 no." No, they don't want you to own a home no more. They don't. So he said, "Hey, Dad, this is the thing to do." And here's where being a leader is hard. Now, first of all, I was really, really sick, and I wasn't thinking very clearly. Because if I did, I don't think I would have bought this place particularly, because the people were just dirtbags. And what we went through was unbelievable. And I don't know if I told the story. I think I can because it's been solved. We bought it from this woman and her husband. And they were desperate to get out of here. And we first took a look at the place. It was big enough for two families, meaning, my wife and I, and my son and the kids, because it's almost 4,500 square feet. So it's got two wings, which is perfect. 3 bathrooms, 5 bedrooms, whatever the heck it is. And I'll go back to that. Because when we went, before I tell this story, so we came up with the idea to move, and I'll explain everything about the house and how we came about it. But I want to finish this. When we put the house up for sale, okay, BlackRock came in, and they were willing to pay us more than what we were asking for. But they backed out. Now, who's not going to take more than what they're asking for? Really? You understand it's wrong to sell to these corporations, but you also have to look out for yourself. And I kind of understand that. There's a matter of pride, and there's a matter of a lot of things. But at some point, you have to look out for yourself. BlackRock backed out because we were going to sell it to him. I said, what are we going to do, Tam? This is more than what we asked. This will really help, especially, buying a new place. But the reason they backed out, they didn't want to be liable for the pool, because we had a in-ground pool. So that was fine. Another couple came, and they paid exactly what we asked for, because the place was immaculate. It was paid off. We didn't have to worry about anything. My son sold his place, got an offer from BlackRock, got an offer from a whole bunch of places, but he sold it to this family that was in desperate need of a home. And he went that way, and they were willing to pay the same money. So he went with them instead of BlackRock. For him, it was principal, which, okay, fine. Of course, took an extra month because, BlackRock, they just pay you cash. Or these corporations. Whatchamacallit, people got to get loans. They're waiting on this. They're waiting on that. Okay, understandable. He did. I give him all the credit in the world. But anyways, we came and looked at the house and everything, and I go, no, we're not doing this. I go, this place needs some work. Okay. So, and plus, there's not room for mom, and there's not room for my daughter, or my other child. She goes, well, we own the house down the hill here, which is part of the property. We'll give you that house because we were going to use it as a business, and it hasn't been lived in for quite some time. And we'll give you that house, and we'll add it in, and we'll only charge you an extra $100,000 for it. House is worth $450,000 because it's on an acre and a half of land. So my wife goes, we're not going to find anything else. I went, all right, okay, let's do it. I'm first of all, I was like 190 pounds. I was barely thinking, and I should have thought of it a little bit more. But all together, we got this property, that property, all the land, the extra land with it, and I think we paid. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I think it was $800,000. Okay, when we had it assessed, it was worth 1.4. So yeah, it looks like you got money, but we had to sell 3 houses. My mother sold hers, my son sold his, we sold ours, and things are tough here, but is it worth it? Yeah, because the whole family is on the compound, and that's what we tried to accomplish. So anyways, we move in, which was tough, especially when I wasn't doing well, but I fought through it, and I did what I had to do. And then we get served papers from a lawyer. I'm like, whoa, what's this? Well, the woman who inherited this house, and the funny thing about this house was, and I'm, again, pulling back the curtain. Beautiful house. All right, not that old. It wasn't. It was actually 2 years younger than the house we originally bought. Okay, marble windowsills, cathedral ceilings. The best. Money cabinets, china. The countertops were they took the inheritance and they wanted to live rich, and what they did is they got themselves in trouble. They put all this brand new beautiful stuff in, and then they don't take care of it. They don't maintain it. So now when we come in here, we have to maintain it. That's the type of people they were, They inherited it. The problem was, okay, and here's where it gets, I'll read all your comments in a minute, so please bear with me. The problem is that the family was all fighting with each other, and we didn't know about this at the time. So we got this place at like an incredible deal, and we went, okay, we can make it look the way we want to make it look. Okay, we can clean it up. It's just going to take some work and everybody pitching in. Well, come to find out, she had forged signatures on the paper for the land and the houses. Okay, she had a right. She was living in this house. Okay, and owned a certain amount of the land. Then the mother had to deed over the land for the other house, which she did without any problem. The brother, she forged the signature. Okay? He was in Texas at the time when she had it quick deeded over to herself. So she forged the quick deed, which the notary was her best friend and notarized it. Now, fortunately, our title company, we had insurance on it, okay? So we get this thing saying, we own 5 acres of that. We go, oh, hell no, we just paid for it. And we showed it. And they go, no, this is an illegal dispute. I go, that's between them. This is our land. You're not taking our land. So our title company had to get into a thing with their lawyer, and our title company, who did not do their diligence, okay, and because it falls on them, had to pay the guy the money, okay. So we keep the land. They paid it, not us. And I was like, I ought to sue this lady, all right. And there were some other things that went on, and you know, you wanted to smash your head into a window, right? And to this day, I give my son a tough time, because there were other places that I was looking at that I thought would be just as good. Cleaning up the fields. I mean, the guy, when he would cut a bale of hay, he would leave the netting on the ground. So there was grass growing over netting. So we must have ripped up 2 truckloads of netting, which can kill those cows. Then there were aluminum cans and bottles and stuff like that, and we just spent time cleaning all that up. Didn't take care of the fencing. We had to redo the fencing, and we bring these animals in. We want these animals to have the greatest life ever, and they do. We spare no expense. We take good care of our animals. We love our animals. And you guys see videos of them, matter of fact, I just did a thing on Scarlet, because everybody's like, oh, she's so bony, no, she's not. She's right where she should be. And now she's starting to put on weight because her milk is drying up finally, and she's not generating and using all that energy to convert it to milk. But our beautiful Jersey cow is fine, and then we got the babies that are fine, and we're just really proud as we're starting to get things to our way. So, it's just been, mind-boggling what we've had to go through, but, in the long run, is it worth the effort and the fight? Yes. When people are losing, neighborhoods are falling apart, being bought out and rented because people can't afford homes anymore. Okay? There's a lot of shady stuff going on again. And I don't care what side of the fence you are. It's not just the left, it's not the right. It's all types of things, and it's greed and people. Affiliations are people just want to be right just to say they're right. Well, I don't care what you show me. We're not banding together and going, no, this is wrong for the common man. Why should we listen to some celebrity go, oh, well, I'm going to endorse this person because it doesn't affect them? Remember what I said earlier in this, about an hour or so ago, okay? When you have everything, nothing matters to you. You just keep wanting more because you don't know what else to do. And it's kind of like I said with gaming. When you have those first couple of games, it's like, wow, this is great, and so forth and so on. And then just after a while, they just start piling up. They don't mean anything. Same thing with money and what it does to people. And people don't see this. We don't see this. I don't care who you are out there. I don't care what you believe in. Okay? I don't care, maybe you don't even want to hear it. Okay? You're just so staunch in your beliefs. Because you weren't told no as a kid. You weren't told why things were wrong. And none of us know what's really right. None of us know what's real. Nobody tells the truth. They tell misperceptions. This thing is our greatest enemy. Even the internet here, I'm on here, we try to talk sense. There's good in it. There's good in this. But it is used for evil. Technology is used to fool people, and convince people, and it's a race to see who can destroy who first. We don't know what the truths are, and it's really hard to try to figure things out, but I will tell you this much. Eventually, at some point, we will come together. We will come together and we will figure it out, and we'll find a way. We have a way of doing that. Resiliency, that's the greatest gift of being a human, is that we are very resilient. And we find a way. We're not as dumb, even though it seems like we're pretty dumb lately. Um, Hopefully, things will turn around for the best. And it's not about the left, it's not about the right. You know, I always say this, I'm an independent. And there are things I believe on both sides. I really do. And somewhere, somehow, somebody or something is going to come along and do the right thing, and hopefully save us from ourselves. And there you go. That's my big political moment. But don't listen to people. Try to be smart and research, and even though it may be something that, or somebody that you don't like, okay, listen, see what you can take from it. Really try to see if you know, is anybody really for us when these corporations are buying up homes? How many of you, the younger audience, and I don't have a very young audience that watches me, but how many of you are going to be able to raise families in a home? Are you going to rent? Are you going to be paying $2,000 rent and not be able to save money to actually have your own piece of land? Now they're building, they're taking and they're building things, and they're making them all-in-ones where you live. It's like somebody watched every sci-fi movie and said, you know something, we can do this. Why don't we take this and do this? And what they're doing is they're building these complexes where everything's built into it. You don't have to leave. You can work from home. You can stay in your little 800 by 800 square foot apartment or whatever it is with your wife and one kid, and you can go down to floor 2 and go get something to eat. You can go shopping on floor 4, and all these things, because they don't want people going anywhere. Why? When you see certain videos on things, okay, and I'm not going to mention or talk about certain things, and then the media still denies it. Oh, we debunked this. What? This is the video right here, unless it's fake. And you have to question that too. You can't get, you don't control anything anymore. People scream about democracy. Well, where does it say a democracy? What's a democracy? Look up the word and find out what it is. We're not a democracy. We never were. We're a republic. It's where the people control the government. The people. Now we're being controlled. By who? I don't know. Hey, I'm not one to judge, and I'm not one to say too much. But we do have to wake up and work together as a collective, or else those days that gone by, those old memories, that's all they'll be, is memories. Nobody will have a chance to create new memories for themselves. How many of you remember bad times? Yeah, times were tough. You made the best out of them. But these tough times are going to be so much more. So much more. Where there's nothing you'd take good of it. Listen, my parents didn't make a lot of money. We didn't have things. But They worked hard. They had their own home. We had our own land. We had a neighborhood full of kids. We went outside. We made the best out of having nothing. We had little block parties. Food meant something to people. It was a gift. It was the greatest gift you can give somebody if you went over with a plate of food and said, "Hey, I made this and I wanted to bring this over for you and your family." That was a tremendous gift, and it was such an appreciated thing. That's how you showed appreciation for somebody. That doesn't happen anymore. There's no appreciation. There used to be festivals where it didn't cost money, but there was tons of food, and you ate and you shared and you talked and you sat there with one bottle of wine and some bread and you talked and you communicated with each other and you disagreed with each other in front of each other, and you learned something and you walked away and you hugged it out. Hey, God knows, a couple bottle of wines, maybe you swung it out. But at the end, the next day, it was forgotten about. Was there always a little bit of drama? Was there always this, that, and the other? Yeah, sure. There were neighborhoods. That damn Adam's Act kid, or whatever. You keep them away from the house. Next thing you know, they're playing stickball in the street. You didn't avoid somebody because, oh, that person was a Democrat. Oh, that person's a Republican. We can't talk anymore. What's that? At that same neighborhood thing, you would all sit at the same table and break bread together. Okay? And this is where we get away from things. And talk peacefully and calmly. It's okay to be passionate, but talk calmly to one another. Express yourself, but don't be a psychopath and destructive. We have to get back to that. We don't communicate. Why? Because all our bravery can come from here, from a simple... Well, I'm not a very good texter, but we can do things that way. It's always so brave over this, but face to face, that's a different story. It's a funny thing. But hopefully we'll come together and things will work out and we'll find a way together as one unified people. We can all be different, but we do have one thing in common, all of us. We breathe air. We can start there and build from there. I think that's a pretty easy thing. Let's see. Let me read some of this. Same thing happened where I lived in the UK. We plan to move. See? And then when you move, then they buy that out. Not buying a farm, but somewhere big enough to raise some. There you go. Where I live in South Carolina. Beautiful place. Did my basic there in Fort Jackson, Columbia. Growing up in the 90s, there was nothing but beautiful woodlands and farms. Traffic went from 5,000 a day to 150,000, and all the farms and woods are housing subdivisions and crime and tax. Yep, animals. Oh, yeah, I got that. We got a frowny face. Good for your son, thank you. My neighbors sold their house, asked for personalized letters, and that's how they found out about BlackRock bids. Chose the family's bids instead, based on principle. Good thing. At Flanman, good idea. Kudos to those sellers. 100% on point. Well, thank you. The quickest way to end kids' childhood is to give them a phone. That's why those kids will never have a phone in there. I'll boot them right in the butt if they get one. The left love dystopia. Well, you know, I mean, we could say a lot of things about a lot of things. Let's just put it that way. When people are screaming, it's raining, then the news is saying it's not. It's up to us to walk outside and find out for ourselves. Great point. Fantastic point. We are a representative republic. The word democracy doesn't show up in the founding papers anywhere. Exactly. That was my point exactly. They don't. Don't get fooled by slick words. Don't get fooled. We have to start thinking and talking amongst ourselves. Don't look at the flag that the person flies. Okay? Look at the person and say, hey, how can we come together? Something isn't right here. Why are they keeping us apart? Why is it divide and conquer? Maybe. Maybe. There has to be common ground for all of us. Not that long ago, Republicans and Democrats were generally heading in the same direction, but just took different paths. No, to me, it seems they are going in the complete opposite directions. Yeah, absolutely. It was weird. It's almost like the Roman Empire. You know, it just flourished, and then the worst thing that could have happened. It's called greed. Sacrificing one thing. It's like the BlackRock thing. And I can even attest that I almost fell into the greed. It was like, okay, I have to look out for myself. I'm admitting it right to you. Boy, I really don't want to sell to these guys, but geez, how do I turn this down? I got to take care of my family. That's the most important thing, and I got to make sure this house gets sold. Do I take the offer that's $20,000 less, or do I wait it out? You know, you almost fall into that greed, and the thing is, on a higher level, it's the same thing. It's, well, I know this is good for our nation and this is bad, but boy, this is going to put an awful lot of money in my pocket. Everybody has a price for the $1 billion man. Remember that? They weren't wrong. Everyone has a price. No matter what you say, everybody has a price. Human conditioning, I guess. Well, with that said, let's not end this on a depressing note. And it wasn't meant to be depressing. It's more, hey, why don't we just all come together and just be good people? All right? And talking about days gone by and possibly the worst game of the year that you'll be seeing a video of very soon. We've got a lot of videos coming up, a lot of stuff. Actually, I think I have more videos this week because a company asked me to do something special for them. You'll see that on Tuesday. Wednesday, there'll be more farm stuff, I'm sure. Thursday, I think I'm going to come live. And then Friday, we've got some stuff. And then I usually take nothing on the weekends. And I've got next week all planned out. Just a lot of stuff. Oh, no, I can't come live on Thursday. Thursday's that day. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll come live Wednesday. Yeah, that'll make more sense, possibly. So we can do that. All right, so there you go. Guys, it was great spending time with you as always. All right, let's see if I can do this correctly this time. Because I goof up everything. You know what? just take some time today. Go outside, take a deep breath of the air, and breathe a little bit. Enjoy the little things in life, okay? Because tomorrows aren't guaranteed, folks. And just always make the best out of it and the most out of each and every day. Until next time, it's your old pal Ron. We'll see you soon, everybody. This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.